Oh, thank God we know the fate of Barb. I was really concerned that they were going to wait till much later in the series and that they would just show a random shot of her dead body. Glad that would never happen. Ah, yes, the horror tradition of cutting between someone getting chased or brutally murdered by a monster and a teenage sexual situation. Nothing weird or disturbing about that. I want my mommy. Also, we wouldn't dare play the music, but playing Foreigner in a love scene set in the 80s cliché. Despite having plenty of time between the sending of episodes 2 and 3, Oswald and Pembroke Duffer have ignored the public outcry to reveal their first names. Also, in case you were worried, I want to confirm, this theme still slaps. I don't know if it was the cinematographer, the DP, the gaffer, or Steve's parents, but it's nighttime and somebody needs to be held responsible for the amount of light entering this room right now. That's a lot of lamps. Who has this many lamps?
You don't need more lamps.
True. Are lamp interventions a thing? Lamp interventions? Interlamptions?
And just tell our parents we have AV club after school.
AV club? AV club? Every parent in the 80s knew that we have AV club was code for going to the library to look at bared breasts in National Geographic, right? Right?
You're gonna take out the Demogorgon with a slingshot?
Says the kid that only brought food. What, you hoping the Demogorgon has a peanut allergy?
First of all, it's a wrist rocket.
It is not.
Imagine all the other cool stuff she could do.
I guess by all the other cool stuff, you meant specifically levitate the Millennium Falcon, because you walked past all the other things lying around the room to get to the one object under a blanket in the corner. Also, nobody puts the Millennium Falcon in a corner.
If you get hungry, eat Dustin snacks, okay?
But Dustin brought all those snacks to give the group stamina for their mission after school. Mike is a dick to Dustin's snacks.
Michael!
Coming!
Screaming at your parents when they ask you to do a simple task. It's not cool, kids. It's really not cool. Nancy's caressing that trapper keeper so hard the 80s nostalgia will not be able to be contained any longer. It will burst out like a newborn child running rampant all over the pop culture landscape for the next 6 years and burn the essence of the 80s into every fucking piece of film and television that it can. Wait, what was this in here? And why do I have a desire to buy butterfly stickers? Damn you 80s nostalgia. Damn you to hell.
You're being paranoid.
I mean, maybe she is, at least about what's behind the intent of the stairs. But this girl is clearly staring daggers at Nancy, so I'd want to know what the is up with that as well. All she brought to class was her copy of Descent from Xanadu. Either she didn't show up ready to learn or the show deprived us of a lecture about the sexually irresistible Judd Crane.
Where's Barb? Shouldn't you know?
Writers have this minor character answering a question with a question to assuage any doubt that this high school is filled to the brim with assholes.
I guess we're gonna blow the Ruskies to smithereens.
The unnerving coincidence of the Cold War's greatest hits becoming relevant again as I'm watching this episode in 2022.
Can I help you?
Yeah, we're here for a tour.
Why would Hopper start with this reason? He gives a perfectly logical explanation in a second about having to check the facility because it's a nearby location Will could have run off to. Why not start there and not come off as if you're up to something sneaky right from the get-go?
Like I said, you have to speak to Mrs. Schaefer.
Let me shut off my engine and remove my hat because this is 1983 code for I'm friendly, but I also mean business. Devaluing this collectible by repeatedly smashing it into the ground. Taking someone's lazy boy for a spin without explicit consent. What's next, 11? You gonna eat someone's french fries without asking?
There are several sacred things in this world that you don't ever mess with. One of them happens to be another man's fries.
2 episodes later, and Matthew Modine's hair is still a sin. Believing this rat's nest of Christmas lights could ever be untangled. Pixar didn't happen. Thanks to this shot, I now know all about ring shank nails. Okay, maybe not all, but I know they exist and that this is certainly overkill for mounting some Christmas lights.
I don't know, but they're lying.
This they're hiding something cliche, underlying a shadowy government-funded conspiracy cliche, wrapped in a I love the story so I didn't really want to send it but I have to cliche. I'm no stranger to exercising the old power stance, but is there a reason to be standing so close to this equipment as it's being dropped into place? I mean, at that distance, your mini Modine's gonna need a hard hat. The quietness of this scene juxtaposed against the violence she experienced at the lab serves as the perfect expression of just how upside down Eleven's life has been compared to the relatively normal lives of everyone else. We see her being mesmerized by the simplicity of this world in the same way we're captivated by the supernatural aspects of hers. Hats off to the production team for making me see, hear, and feel this. Snooping.
I don't care what it is, it's disgusting. Just get it off the table.
He's not wrong, but they all should be equally disgusted that she has the same shoes on the table that have most likely graced the germ-infested realm known as the lavatory.
She's not a superhero. She's a weirdo. What does that matter? The X-Men are weirdos.
Mike would be the dungeon master at free period superpower TVSins.
What are you losers doing back here? Probably looking for their missing friend.
I love all the Stephen King vibes this show gives off. I really do, but I could have done without the it's a Stephen King story about kids, so there has to be bullies cliche. I think all of us could have done without that.
I brought you a casserole.
When exactly did casserole become the go-to? You're having a bad time, guess you need one of these food. For once I want to see someone having the best darn day of their life and their best friend shows up all like, heard everything was going great for you there, buddy, but wait, there's more. I brought you a casserole. Also, casserole.
You can find the corresponding microfiche in the reading room.
I've heard tales of this mythological microfiche and its ability to conjure information long thought to be lost, but to this day there's been little evidence beyond TV movies and the stories told by wise old bibliothecaries. Perhaps one day I'll journey beyond the stacks of historical fiction and into the fabled regions of the third floor at my local library, where sightings have been reported. But until I see it with my own eyes, I cannot stand idly by as this show claims the existence of the microfiche to be a fact.
The librarian.
Why not the librarian? I can see taking issue with the way Hopper conducts his personal affairs, but your specific concern regarding this woman's vocation makes about as much sense as my insistence on using the word bibliothecary. This fiche is on for so long, I'm not sure why they didn't name the episode Gone Microfishing.
Let me throw in that casserole, okay?
You brought the casserole to the Private Lives of Pippa Lee's Winona Ryder Uncooked? What the f***, Karen? Since November 28th was a Monday in 1983, either someone is going to be very late for an event that happened in 1980, or someone is being very optimistic about their plans for 1986.
Oh man, he is like totally trembling. You must really have something to hide.
Steve's being a little over the top here, but Jonathan isn't exactly the innocent. Those photographs are creepy and definitely not approved by the photographees. And I hate that Quizno and Remington Duffer are actually making me side with the kids beating up on the weakling. Did a few good men teach you nothing? Throwing the one guy up against the wall can be justified as a fight or flight reaction, but the snapping of the neck is very brutal. I would dare say too brutal for the child protagonist that we're supposed to be rooting for. I love subtle period touches like this Nelson bench designed in 1946. However, I'm completely taken out of the scene by the fact that thanks to a resurgence in the popularity of mid-century modern furniture, this bad boy now costs over $1,500. Thank you very much, Herman Miller. No one will be seated as Ottoman New York's Winona Ryder paints the alphabet in real time. Talking, running, driving, excitement? Hey, Phil, how can we show the seriousness of this scene where the kids are following the cops to the body? I don't know, Gary. Maybe we have them, I don't know. You tried their bikes through a puddle that we'll have a close-up shot on? Phil, this is exactly why they pay you all the money. Genius!
It's Will. It's really Will.
Siegfried and Tristan Duffer thinking anyone's actually going to fall for this Will's dead fake out, when we all know it was just an excuse for the beautifully stylized ending of this episode.
250 strands of light, 100 individual bulbs per strand for a grand total of 25,000 imported Italian twinkle lights.
What is this place?
Nancy?
What?
You want to know who Fred Krueger was? He was a filthy child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood.
No, please. Please don't say that. I know I've been selfish, but I can do better. I can change.
Oh, Steve.
I'll have what she's having.
If you get hungry, eat Dustin's snacks, okay?
Michael! The meatloaf!
I heard they make space weapons in there.
Space weapons.
An industrial laser, which emits an extraordinary light not to be found in nature.
What should I do?
Get the out!
They just can't help themselves. So,
I take his weapons away, both of them.